Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to this community of love, this community of transformation. We invite you to bring all of who you are. Let me go here. Life is good. My sister is in the house. So nice to see you. Let me move this mic out of the phone. Out of the phone. Yeah, well, that's what it is. I'm moving my microphone out of the phone because I'm streaming on IG. So you want to check me out there? Go in there. Life Coach Ade is what you want to look for. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, and good day to you. I welcome you wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being here. You are listening to the Ade Show. 12 Radio, 12radio.com. I am your host, Ade Anifowose. I am your transformational agent, your wisdom warrior, your metaphysical rebel. Let's blow some shift up. Let's stir some shift. Your shift stirrer. The playful light of the heart. This is where we're changing the way you dance with life and the way you create your reality. And how do we do that? We use the infinite power of love to support you in promoting what is great about you, what is beautiful about you. You make a difference. If you're listening to the show live, thank you. If you're listening to the replay, thank you. And if you're listening to the on demand, thank you for demanding. This is the only time it's acceptable to demand it. When you demand to listen to a show. No, what the flip? You can be demanding whenever you want. Scott Weaver is the producer for the day. Thank you for being here. That's right, my sister Shoyinka Rahim. She said peace, love, joy, happiness, health, grace, and ease. Oh, I need to do one more thing on here. I need to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm not used to this, but I'm getting better. This is my second time doing this. If I can find a Do Not Disturb, there it is right there. Now I'm an expert. Everything. Okay, wait. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Scott, for producing. It is Transformational Tuesday, April 16th, 2019. Time check is 3 after the hour. The topic for today is a continuation of last week conversation, which is the search for belonging. So this is part 2. We are going to continue the conversation on belonging. And, I hope you can be here long enough to get to know, to accept that whatever is happening in your life, whatever the circumstances is, whatever is going on right now in your life, it all belongs. I dropped a little hint there, but did you catch it? I don't think you did. I hope that you can be here long enough. See, belonging is about being where you are long enough to catch the blessing, the message, to see what you need to see. Yeah, I know. Stop it. I know I'm a genius. Just stop. That's okay. So thank you, though. Thanks for recognizing. It is all about being where you are long enough to really get that you belong however you're showing up. The invitation from life is to bring all of you, bring all of yourself. Even if you don't want to be here long enough. You say, well, you don't tell me what to do. I'm a GAM. And so there's a GAM and there's a WAM, I guess. Yeah, there's a GAM. No, I think I got it right. No, there's a GAM and there's a goal. See if you can figure that one out. A GAM is a grown ass man. A GAW, I guess. GAW, GAW. Grown ass woman. You don't tell me what to do. So even if you don't want to be here long enough, you say, I'm leaving right now. That's okay. There are other people who may feel just like that. You still belong. Maybe you found your tribe or not. You keep looking. Maybe you feel excluded. You still belong. Maybe you feel like social media is the only place where you really belong. Or maybe if you tune into 1-2 Radio, then yes, you feel at home. Maybe you find that you're still struggling to find where you belong. You have no clue. All of it, everything about that belongs. Whether you know where you are, don't know where you are, how you're going to get there, where there is, if you're ever going to get there, it's all good. There are other people who feel exactly just like you. You know, if you're looking for examples, go on Facebook. Some of you are on Facebook already. Go to meetup.com. The groups, meetup.com as well, they're groups that were formed because people are looking for people to belong with. People they want to associate with. People they want to associate with. So it's all about belonging. And when you recognize your tribe, when you see the people you're looking for, then you can be like, okay, I'll stay here long enough. But I want you to know that belonging is part of the human experience. So there's no point actually judging the fact that you're looking for a place to belong. Or you're judging the fact that you're part of a group on Facebook or part of a meetup group or part of you subscribe to a page, wherever, whatever it is. So any kind of social media, no social media, an organization where you're looking to belong. Now, I will say that if your belonging is about criminalizing and demonizing and oppressing others, well, you probably won't be listening to my show anyway. Because we don't vibrate the same level. So I can keep it moving. So anyway, the rest of you, stay here. Be here just a little while longer. Be here long enough. Stay a while. Let's have fun together. As I said, I'm streaming on Instagram. You can find me there, Life Coach Ade. And as we dance and look for places and things are happening in the world where, there's so much going on in the world. And there's always going to be a lot going on in the world. I sometimes find myself looking at shows listening to shows I've done 4, 5, 6, 10 years ago. Something comes up and then I go research and Google it and I find the show. And I find that, myself, the other radio host on Life Conversations Radio, callers, the guests that we have, would say something like, oh, this is really some hard times. There's so much going on. And we realize there's so much going on. There's always going to, there's always going to be so much going on. And the more we grow, the more we expand, there's always going to be more because your growth, the fact that we're waking up, we're opening ourselves up to more and allow more of life to move through us. So if you're waking up and you're not just being woke, as I say, being woke is in the past. Wake up, awakening. Wake up every day, ready and available. Praying and affirming, visioning and dreaming. Whatever you're doing, setting intention, being a deliberate creator, know that you're part of what is happening. You're a catalyst for what you see in the world. You are reflecting yourself. Let me say it this way. What you see reflected back to you are your thoughts, your mindset, your belief system, what you hold to be true. How you judge them, how you accept them says more about you than what you're looking at. Don't judge what you're creating. If you judge what you're creating, you just might be judging yourself. And when you judge yourself, there is no room for love. I mean, love is still there, but you won't feel it. You won't know it. And speaking of knowing, if you want to know who's listening to the show, you're looking for people to belong with. That's a horrible segue, but I tried. But I still belong. If you want to belong with some tribes, I want to invite you to join me in the chat room. At 1-2 Radio chat room, which is on Facebook, which means you have to have a Facebook account. Or you can chat on Instagram. I'll keep an eye on it. See what I can catch. So you get to the chat room by going to 12radio.com if you don't know that already. 12radio.com. Click on chat on the left, top left. And if you have a Facebook account, it will bring you in. Well, you get to the door and my producer, Scott, will let you in. It's a closed group. The chat room is a closed group, which means whatever you share in there will not show up on your timeline. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm rushing. I'm running. I have so much to share. So I'm just going to pull myself back. I'm going to come back into my body. I'm going to take a deep breath. Feel free to join me. Sometimes we just need to stop and stretch. And pull it back. This ain't a performance. This is about teaching and pointing and sharing and inspiring and educating and what else? Empowering. What else? Fill in the blank. Fill in the blank and the blanks. And all the blankety blanks. And when you get to the chat room, look for pinned post. And when you click it, you'll see comments. Click on that. You can like it or not. And you'll see other people in there. I'm not in there yet, but I will be in a minute. Because I need my note to remind me. And those of you who are not in the chat room, thank you for listening, for tuning in. I call you my silent listeners. And say hello to the president of the Silent Listeners Club, New Jace, a.k.a. Jackie. Let's go in the chat room. Who is here? Let's refresh so I can recognize who is here. To recognize my tribe. To remember, to know. Fresh guy. I think Kai is in the house. I love this banner. This banner is just amazing. The one at the top that tells you about the rundown for the day. And I love my banner too. Actually, I think my banner was an inspiration for the daily rundown for the show. Could you see that yellow orangey stuff in there? Yeah, of course. That's my sunshine shining all over the place. Nice to see you, Jan, Jenny, Renee, Danny, Kwali, Kai, April, Joy, the grateful goddess. Nice to see you all. Blessed Tuesday morning to you too, Kwali, Kai. Nice to see you. Chris is in the house. See? Chris gets it. She said, it is Tuesday. The sun is shining. Ade is on. All is all right. I know that's right. You can't be sad listening to me. And if you are, you're not listening. Come closer. Come closer. Come here. Let me tell you something. I love you. You matter. You make a difference. And I am so glad you're here. For those of you on Instagram thinking, what am I looking at? My microphone is to the right. Okay? I'm not crazy. Well, I am. Jan is in the house. Good morning. And Jackie is in the house and she has a reminder for us. Let me slow it down because she's always trying to trick me. Yes. Shoyinka said, remembering and... Oh, I see what you're saying. That too. But she said, remembering and reminding our true self, which is love. When we remember who we are, when we remember our... Okay, let me read that again. When we remember and remind ourselves, that's right. Remember and remind ourselves of our true... Let's try that again. When you remember and remind yourself of your true self, that is love. Okay, Jackie. Jackie said, good morning, everyone. I might have to go back in time, but that's going to be like for a whole year to collect all these things that Jackie writes. I just love him. She said, no matter where you are, near or far, the best way to start the day is with that day. I love you too, Jackie. I love that. That just puts a smile on my face. It makes me turn purple. I do, you know. That's me blushing. Black people don't turn red. I keep telling people. Black people do not turn red. If you ever hear a black person say, I was turning red, just look at them saying, you lying. we turn purple, especially if you have my kind of complexion. Now, there's some black people who turn red, actually. Oh, God. There's some black people who turn red when you really think about it, but I'm not going to go into that because the president of the silent retreat is... silent retreat. I'm just all over the place today. Of the silent listeners is listening. I had an experience. I don't know if I want to expose myself like that. Well, okay, so here it is. So here it is. I'm going to say it. Damn it. I'm going to say I'm a gam. I'm a grown-ass man. It's all part of the show. The things that we hold on to and think, oh, I shouldn't have said that. So, my dear friend, Jackie. This is so funny. So, my dear friend, Jackie, she does this thing called fortune cookies, right? And those of you that follow me on Instagram, I'm laughing because I know the punchline. It's not really a punchline, but, I know the end of the story. If you follow me on Instagram, you see something. I posted something this morning. If you're on Facebook, you will see something I posted that said, life will always bring you back to yourself. I got to tell the story so quick because I am laughing hard. I am laughing out loud inside. So every time I do a show, she will grab something from the show that inspired her, that touched her, that resonated with her, that she feels like, I like that. And she will create something. So I call it, we both call it now, the fortune cookies, because I never know what she's going to send. And some of the things that she designed, I'm like, wow, did I say that? Wow, that's powerful. And so she's been doing this now for over a year. And so last week, she sent me one of the fortune cookies. And it said, what I just read, life will always bring you back to yourself. Now, the other thing that most of you may hear me say, it's very important for me, to see representation of different people in the world. It's not just spiritual community. So I'm not going to just pick the spiritual community, but I see it in the spiritual community that people of color are left out of advertising or when there's a tele summit or conference. It's a reflection of the world we're living in, the Western world particularly. So I want to make sure that the things that I put out represents all human race. So when she sent this to me, if you're looking at it, there's a hand, two hands actually. There's some kind of cross. So if you can look at it on Instagram or Facebook. And I looked at it, I said, I like the fact that she got this. I like the power. Life will always bring you back to yourself. So I replied back, I said, I love it, but can I have a hand that represents people of color? Jackie's African American. She replied back to me, she said, those are my hands. I was like, oops, damn. I got put in my place. So we come in all shades, every one of us. I have seen some white people that look like a direct opposite of me. On the scale, if you want to call it white, I say pale. On the scale, is pale acceptable? But you know what I mean. On the other side, where this dude was so white, so pale, I'm like, damn, he's my twin. So anyway, Jackie corrected me. I think some black people turn red. I don't know. That's why I told that long ass story. Moving right along. Thank you for tuning in. You never know what you're going to get when you tune into my show. Check out my website if you want to grow, if you want to heal playfully, flexibly. What other leads? I don't know. But that's all I got for now. I work with people. I mean, I can be... Now, let me tell you something. I can be serious. See, radio is a theater of the mind. And I joke. Yes, people who coach with me, I joke. But I'm going to put your behind to the fire. Okay, so anyway, check out my website, lifecoachade.com. Lifecoachade.com. So much going on in the world. And I stand in love, in solidarity with those who are experiencing grief right now. What we know globally, because it's been announced on the news, is the fire at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. You know, there's some people who are just devastated because we identify with things that mean so much to us. You know, things that are symbolic. You may not find it symbolic. Personally, I don't necessarily have a connection to it. But the history, they said it's like 850 years old. It's like, wow. And the roof was taken down in about, most part of it anyway, 8 to 9 hours. And there are people grieving. I have a friend who made his transition a few days ago. Grieving happens so many ways. There are people grieving the wonderful brother, Nipsey Hussle. It's like, it's part of life. And when we talk about belonging, when you're grieving, and when you feel like, I shouldn't be grieving my mother, my father, my friend, my job, my cat, my pet, my house that I had that I lost in a divorce, the business deal that went, I shouldn't be grieving that because it's been 2 years. Who gets to determine that? You, really, but it's not about time. If it's really about time, it's about the timing of your own healing. It's about timing of your soul. So as we join together with everyone who's just experiencing all sort of chaos, all sort of struggles and pain, let us just remember we belong together. And we need each other. Because we are always, we can't help it. By default, we are each other. I am you, you are me. It sounds good to say that. But if we just sit with that long enough, I am you and you are me. We are one. Now, that goes for everybody and every being in the world. Qualia, I like that. Thank you. Thank you for that gift. Yes, Admiral Ade is in the house. Nice to see you, Raven. We belong to one another. We are one. We are one. Whether you don't like how that other one is reflecting their truth, their reality, but you're still connected to them. And you can get intellectual about it and say, well, I still get to choose who I'm one with. Okay, good luck with that. You can fool yourself into believing you're not one with all of life. But like your body, every part of it is connected. Every part of your body. Ooh, I don't know why I'm stretching, but it feels good. So the search for belonging. Let's see where we end up. Let's see where we go today. Last week I told you that I'm writing a book about my journey. And the catalyst for the book is the government retreat that I was invited to last October for 40 days and 40 nights. Damn. I didn't even know I had made a reservation for that government retreat. Shoo! But I showed up. Not willingly, but hey, I still showed up. I knew that if I was going to write a book about that experience, it would be from a perspective of lesson learned and stories that other people can relate to. Just by default, because my story is your story is my story. No matter what it looks like, no matter where you live, no matter what you're going through, you tell me your story, something in you, something in me will recognize it. If I'm telling you a story, something in you recognizes it. As I'm telling this story, my story, the story of the search for belonging, it will activate something in you. It brings up something for you. Sometimes you might say, it has nothing to do with what he's talking about, but you find that when your logical mind is distracted, the truth that wants to be seen just rises to the top. Never underestimate the power of your mind. Never underestimate the power of focused mind. So focusing your mind allows things to kind of happen, to rise to the top. That's why meditation is good for you. But anyway, so I knew that this story would be a story, well, that whatever I write is to tell my story, my truth, authentically as I know it. And I want to take this time to really thank my dear friend, my prima, Diana Silver, the host of Mole Mama on 1-2 Radio. Mole Mama. Her show is every Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific. And I produce that show as well. I want to thank her for pushing me off the edge. You know, I was on the edge and she pushed me off. I think I talked about this briefly last week. But, you know, when I had a conversation with her, before the conversation, I wasn't thinking about, oh, when am I going to write the book? But it was there. It was there in my energy. Weeks and, you know, for the past few months. And it was when we had the conversation that I felt like, oh yeah, it is really time to do the book. She was asking me, I don't even remember exactly what she asked me. And I remember saying, you know what? Yeah, it's the book. Because that's what it was. I think I said this last week. There were several things that came to my mind that I could do, that I was thinking of doing, but I hadn't made up my mind. So in that conversation, I made up my mind. It's like, you know what? It's the book. And she's been quite supportive even now. So Diana, thank you very much if you're listening. And if not, I know you can hear me in your spirit. And as I write the book, there is something to be said about taking a moment to listen to one story, to listen to your own story. You know, they say everybody has a book or two in them. And I remember the first time I heard that, I thought, wow, that's pretty powerful. Because I had some secrets, well, not secret hopes, wishes, desires of writing a book. But I'm like, what am I going to write about? I ain't got nothing to write about. But of course we all have a book in us because we are books on legs. What are books? Stories. Every one of us are made up. We live in our stories. We live out our stories. We're made up of stories. We're created out of stories. So yeah, we have a choice to tell the story or not. And you start where you are. And, you know, I started with my book talking about an incident, the government retreat, that detention experience. And it just took me places backwards, like to the beginning, literally. Childhood, a place of birth, UK, my heritage, Nigeria, and living in America. It just took me places, and it still is. Sometimes I have to stop because it just brings up so much emotions. Not necessarily sad. Well, sometimes it's sad. Sometimes it's joyful. Sometimes it's like I get caught in it. It's like, wow, I made it through that. You know, I get to face stories when I was homeless, when I lived in a car. I don't tell that story often. I think I can almost count on one hand how many times I've told that story on the radio. And it's not that I have to tell the story. I don't have to tell it. But I also know that part of the reason of not even using that or sharing that as part of my journey is because I felt shame about it. You know, how could I be homeless? Oh, no, wait. How could I be evicted out of my apartment? How could I not have enough money to pay my rent? Now I'm homeless, living in a car. Spend most days in the car thinking about who am I going to call? Who will let me stay? But feeling too embarrassed to call, and then leave it to later on in the evening to finally call, only to say, well, you should have called me earlier. I'm not in town. I could have given you the key. Or like, oh, I hope they say yes. So we all have the stories that we carry with us, that we're ashamed of, that we feel guilt about, that we criticize ourselves for. We all do. And you got to tell that story somehow. In telling the story, you free yourself. When you free yourself, you find that you belong. That's sweet. In telling the story, you free yourself. I'm thinking about it. in freeing yourself, you find that you belong. Oh, damn, that's sweet. If you don't know, you don't get it. Because that was not in my mind. It's not in my note. Yes, R.I.P. Nip. I like that. R.I.P. Nip. I just came to the chat room. Diana is here. Good morning. I felt your spirit. She said, I am here. I am so thrilled for you. The world needs your book. Sweetness and light. I can't wait to read it. I know, right? I can't wait to read it. So yeah, when you free yourself from your story, I don't remember what I said, but somehow I was led to go to the chat room. But you caught it. It's like this whole thing about freeing yourself. When you free yourself, you become more creative. When you free yourself, you tap into listening to your true self, your higher self, your intuition. Life flows through you easily. You stop restricting the light and love of God that is expressing through and as you. And we must come face to face with the things that we're ashamed of. The stories. I wrestled with belonging. And I didn't even know it. I didn't know I was wrestling with it. I mean, no, that's not true. I had an idea. I always felt like my life has always been about belonging. But this process of writing the book has really just magnified it. It's like, oh my goodness. Oh my God. OMG. That's for everybody. Some people can't say, oh my God. That's okay. I understand. I didn't grow up with that belief system. So God, I don't have no problem calling God's name whenever I feel like calling God. What's God doing other than to love me? Don't call God's name in vain. What? Get out of here. God ain't got, that's right. God ain't got nothing else to do than to love me. I better call that name. She wants me to call her. Every time I wake up, she tells me, I'm here for you. Call me whenever you want. Tell me your secrets. Tell me what you think I already know. So anyway, I'm loose. Man, thou art loose. So this thing about belonging and really just looking at this like, okay, I get it. I shared last week that UK, where I was born, London, was a place that I never really accepted in my heart. I never really accepted it. Not because I consciously said, nope, I don't want it. I don't want to experience UK. It was unconscious. And there's some things that are rising to the top that I'm saying, oh, okay, I can see why I felt that. I can see why I have that kind of relationship to my birthplace. And one of the beautiful things in coming back to the United Kingdom is, yeah, this is sweet. Here's another word that I'm hearing. It's developing a love relationship with my birthplace. I mean, what better gift can we give ourselves by developing a love relationship, a love affair with the place that we were born, the place where we made our entrance. If you look back, if you think back and you say, you don't understand where I came from. I can't love where I came from. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Maybe your denial or refusal to love your birthplace is actually the doorway to your freedom, to your belonging, to your healing. The things we resist the most have so much more to offer us. That they actually lead to you recognizing yourself wholly, wholly and completely. And so this journey I've walked, this journey of belonging, being connected to 2 places, 3 places, born in UK, grew up in Nigeria. At the beginning stages, it was just a place my parents brought me back to. And then couldn't wait to get back here. And then got here, I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Then end up in America, wasn't really planning to, just by life doing what life does, pulled me over. And then fell in love with America, fell in love with Atlanta. And it's just Atlanta actually felt, and still does, that's the truth, feels more at home than anywhere else, locally. But within myself, I am remembering, I am continuing to cultivate that. One, I am home in myself because I'm embracing my birthplace. Two, everywhere I claim as home lives in me. So it's okay. It's okay for me to have more affinity for one place than the other. Like parents, most parents won't tell you. There's some parents who kind of prefer one child over the other. They won't tell you. They might tell their very dear friends. Like, I hate to admit this, but sometimes I just wish my daughter was like my son, or my son is like my daughter, or I wish my son is like her brother, I wish my daughter is like her sister. And it's fine. We need room for that. We need to be able to speak our truth. Belonging is necessary. It's a human need. Like any other need. The need for food, for shelter, for protection. The need to feel loved. The need to feel safe. The need to feel accepted. So, if you're spending more time looking for people to belong, or organization to belong with or belong to, it's fine. Even if you're overdoing it. Even if you're overdoing it. You're going out of your way to belong to a group or someone. You may even be borderline in making a fool of yourself. It's fine, actually. Because that's the mind switch. A mind twist. A mind switch and a mind twist. If you can actually give yourself permission to be with what is happening without judging it, just think about that for a minute. You know, I want you to think about it. I want you to feel about it. I want you to feel it in your body. I want you to embody it. You know, think about it. Just take it in. Okay, you may find something. If this doesn't apply to you, just hold space, okay? But those of you who feel like you're doing something you know you shouldn't be doing, but you can't help yourself because you just feel so drawn to doing it and you wish you could stop, but you just don't know how to stop and you just judge yourself for doing it. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. And just feel what that feels like in your body. No, really. Not just hear me. I want you to feel that. Like the things that you're doing that you wish you could have changed. And those of you holding space, maybe something you did before, just feel what that feels like in your body. And see what you notice. Do you notice a sense of ease? Maybe you notice a sense of sadness. Now, maybe you feel sort of tight. Maybe you feel relaxed. I don't want you to do anything but to notice. You don't have to judge it. You don't have to the only thing is you name what you notice. That's it. I want you to be the observer. Just, I feel some shame about that. I feel some guilt. Just slow it down. Your mind will try and grab it and say, oh, well, you know, whatever you focus on, you magnify. You don't want to focus on shame and guilt because if you do, then you're going to have more of it. Oh, tell your mind to shut the flip up. No, actually, don't do that. Don't do that. Because if you tell your mind to shut the flip up, your mind will like, oh, really? Really? What you want to say is you can just tell your logical mind, say, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And go back to noticing. Go back to noticing what you notice. Feel your body. Feel your body. Feel what you feel. And that's it. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. There is more power in just noticing what you feel in your body around a particular topic about belonging, the things you're doing that you wish you didn't do or shouldn't be doing, or the things you did last night that you can't forgive yourself for. Just notice. There's more power in noticing and bringing awareness to it than sometimes trying to figure out how to correct something. you really don't have. Let's see. I'm feeling this. I don't need to judge it, but let me just think about it before I say it. No, I'm just going to say it. Well, I'm kind of it's going through my mind. You really don't have enough mental power to contend with the power of your emotions. That's pretty deep. I mean, you can for a while. But any feeling, any emotions, feelings buried alive never dies. To find a place. If you don't want to deal with it, you like I heard people say logify. I don't know if that's a word, but we're making up words. So I like it. It feels good. It feels good in my body to say that. What I've noticed, there's a sense of ease when I think of saying logify. You don't have to, you can logify the things that you're going through. I mean, you can get logical about it. Say, well, that's not mine. Well, I've expanded my consciousness. Well, I'm a light worker. I don't focus on that anymore. I don't focus on my past. I only focus on the future. So because I focus on my future, I'm more at ease in the present. That sounds very judgy, doesn't it? Well, maybe I am judging. But I've done that. So to judge you is to judge myself. Okay, so it's cool. But when you don't face, when you don't deal with, when you get... I mean, sometimes it's good to use logic. I mean, that's why we do it. Your body knows what you need. God knows what you need. Sometimes you need to use your logical mind just to keep you moving on, to ask for help, because sometimes that's the best you can do. Sometimes to tune into your emotions or feel what you feel is just too much, just overwhelming. However, there must come a time when you get still and pay homage. Okay, pay homage to that emotion, to give space to it. Because think about it, emotion, energy in motion, emotion. It wants to move. It is always moving. And if you don't let it out, it's moving within your body. Everything is emotion, everything. It may be gentle, but it's moving. And sometimes it finds its way out when somebody a celebrity, dies. And you find yourself being so sad about it, and you're crying, I can't believe this is happening. And someone asks you what's going on. It's like, oh my God, finding out that Nipsey Hussle was shot. Or somebody in the neighborhood was shot. Somebody died. A building was on fire. Somebody was mistreated. Whatever it is that's causing so much grief. Yeah, your emotion goes, yeah. We got an outlet, and part of it is not even based on what you're looking at. It's your stuff. And it's fine. Remember I said we're connected, we're one. I am you, you are me. So if the reason that I use, without even knowing I'm using it, to express my grief is because of something that you're going through, so be it. If it's watching the news and I think, oh, there are people in other countries suffering worse than me, so be it. Life will use everything to bring you to wherever you want to be, wherever you want to go, whatever you want. Life is using all of it. So when we deny something, when we exclude something, we don't get to experience the fullness of what's to come. Thinking of a story recently. Well, I don't know how recent it happened, but it's coming back to me very, in the distance, in the back of my mind. But I was listening to somebody, and they were talking about an experience that happened to them. Oh, right, that's what who is it? Oh, no. So it was an interview that I was listening to. And the person was mistreated by a police officer in America. And they were telling the story. Oh, I know who it is. D.L. Hughley. That's who it is. He was telling the story of how they were mistreated. And he said the police officer doesn't like, no. The police officer smelled like garlic breath. And as he was telling the story, he said, to this day, I don't like garlic. But as he said it, he made the connections like, oh, I see why I don't like garlic. If you don't know who D.L. Hughley is, he's a comedian, radio host, quite outspoken, and he don't care what you think about what he thinks. Google it. So there are things that we don't like, and we I would never do that. Oh, I don't like that. Why? I don't know. Sometimes it can lead you to some trauma that you've gone through. Sometimes you don't like some kind of people or some kind of thing because you just can't deal with it. But maybe it has something for you. It always does. If you have a reaction to it, oh yeah, there's a connection. If you have a reaction to it, there is a connection. If you're reacting to it, there is a connection. I'm telling you. If you have a reaction to it, there is a connection. And in our exclusion process, it could create pain and suffering in your life, in somebody else's life. When you're excluding part of your story because you're feeling shame, when you're excluding part of your life experience because of guilt or shame or self-criticism or blame, whatever, hurt, frustration, betrayal, it leaves you feeling displaced within yourself, disassociated from yourself. But when you invite the stories, the experiences from a place where you are the observer, you observe it, you feel what you feel in your body. We've gone through a journey, human beings, how, as I see it right now, is, we've gone the religious path, which I would say is more the mind, because I'm thinking of the spirit, mind, body kind of thing, whatever that thing is called. Let me see. Let me finish this and then I'm going to go in the chat room. So, yeah, humans, we try to be safe. Like we stay in our minds. That's why we don't deal with real shit. And we moved to a place where we're now dealing with the spirituality of who we are, the spirit of it all. And it's not like it's all linear. I'm generalizing here. And then we've done the thing with the body. We've shamed the body, embraced the body, don't feed the body, choose what we're going to feed the body. We've gone through all of that. I feel like we're in a place now where it's about integration, integrating the spirit, mind, and body and soul. When you integrate all of it, your spiritual experience, your human experience, which also includes the mind, what you're feeling in your body, what your body has gone through, what happened, what was done to your body because someone abused their power, because you were abused. When you bring all that to the table, you just become an observer. You step out of the story of it all and just observe it. It's free, it's freedom, it's freeing. We all find ways to belong. And we can't help it because it's part of our makeup. We cannot help it. I read an article online by a Dr. Karen Hall. And the article is called Create a Sense of Belonging. And she said, quote, "A sense of belonging to a greater community improves your motivation, health, and happiness. When you see your connection to others, you know that all people struggle and have difficult times. You are not alone. There is comfort in knowing that. There is comfort in that knowledge, should I say. There is comfort in that knowledge," end quote. We all struggle. There is nothing that you're going through that is so unique that you can't find somebody else going through it and growing through it. And sometimes if you struggle with it and you don't know how to get out of it, start a group. Start a group on Facebook. Create a meetup group. Because what would happen is when you do that, you tell your authentic story, your true story, when you're honest about what you're going through and growing through, you find that other people start coming up from underneath the rock like, me too, me too, me too. And they start telling their story. And there'll be a time where you just find that, wow, me telling my story. You've heard that story before. You've seen it before. You telling your story gave life to other people. And then they thank you for telling your own story, and you feel like you belong. You will then actually get to a place where you can look at the story that you were once afraid of, like, oh wow, this could be something I wear. That's my badge. And that's why some people would say, I'm an alcoholic. My name is Ade Anifowose. I'm an alcoholic. I am not. You can call me that if you want. Doesn't matter. But I'm using my name because I'm talking about that. There are things, oh no, people would say I've been clean for 30 years because they need that to remind themselves. Personally, so here's what I want to say. Personally, I don't think you need to be saying that. But of course, I don't know. I've never been down that path before. So maybe they do need to say it. They clearly think they need to say it. That's why they're saying it. 30 years, 40 years, being clean. Yeah, that's a stepping stone. Let me go into the chat room because we don't have a lot of time left. She's amazing. I can't remember who I talked about. See, that's the thing about catching up with this chat room, because one is not only is it an hour, 1 minute and 30 seconds delayed. By the time I come to it, I don't even know what I said. So anyway, somebody I mentioned, I was told she's amazing. Maybe she's talking about Diana. I don't know. Quali, help me. Don't let me sound so much like an idiot. Let me sound a little like an idiot, but not so much like an idiot. Yes, April said, I like to take deep breath. It is you realigning yourself. It's rebooting your system. My sister, Bebo Love, showing her on Instagram, she always says, Bebo Love, breathe in, breathe out. Bebo, B-I-B-O. Breathe in, breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out peace. Whatever that is for you. Whatever you want, whatever you desire, breathe it in and breathe it out. Raven said, yes, write your story. The world needs your book. I'm going to remember that when I'm thinking like, no, actually, I was going to say when I think nobody needs to hear what I have to say. I used to say that many years ago, but nah, it's therapeutic for me. Yes, that's amazing. Hearing stories is cathartic. It truly is. It truly is. It's almost time to release the show. I have so much I wanted to talk about, but I didn't get time to talk about it because I knew that anyway, so I ain't tripping. But one thing that I want to say, I had some questions. Oh, here we go. Here's what I'll leave you with. Are you living life based on your own belief system or based on somebody else's? Mostly, partly somebody else's and ours. But whatever you are holding on to in your belief system, whatever BS you have in your BS, whatever bullshit you have in your belief system, it's time to turn it into manure and let that manure fertilize your growth, your sense of belonging. It's all part of life. Don't run from pain. Don't run from suffering. Don't run to it. Just recognize it's going to show up. And if it doesn't show up, don't trip. If it does, don't trip. It's all part of life. If you want to hold space for people who are struggling, you become an expert when you can hold space for yourself. The better you are at holding space for yourself, the better you are at reminding yourself that you belong, even if everything about you is screaming to get out from where you are. You may be on a government retreat trying to get the hell out of that place, but you belong there. Why? You're there. I want you to know that I love you. I bless you. I appreciate you, and I thank God for you. God is closer than my breath. I know that's right. Thank you, Jenny, for that reminder. Thank you for tuning in. And I truly, truly bless you. come find me on 1-2 Listen. I'll be there in a few minutes. And if you want to come find me there and I'm not there, schedule a call because it's different time zone now. I'm 5 hours ahead if you're in America. So anyway, thank you, Scott, for doing what you do. Thank you, listeners. Those of you on IG, thank you. Let me stop this before it ends because I need to do something here. Peace and blessings on IG. Peace and blessings